So, for example, with Moore's law, slowing or ending as we start to make the details of chips so fine grained that electrons could start hopping across. So, with that, we are going to need, with Moore's law slowing or ending in the near future, so we're going to need more efficient hardware use. How does Polar's aim to unify data processing for both small scale and large scale data sets?
Yeah, so with Moore's law ending, there's one thing, one observation that different from in the 80s when you wrote an algorithm, you were not going to optimize it because in the next 2 years it would be twice as fast, right? So that made, in certain fields, maybe that could make developers lazy. Um, One thing, of course, is what's changing because of processor speed not improving a lot per thread. There is still new developments. One is SIMD, where you have single instruction, multiple data. That means that you have special registers on a thread that can, for instance, for arithmetic, instead of doing a plus operation on a single float, you can do it on 4 floats at a time, which is a 4 times parallelism without actually using multiple threads. So it's 4 times parallelism on the same thread. So that's already something you can have, but sometimes the compiler can auto-generate this SIMD code. Other times you will have to implement this manually. So there's one shift that instead of writing the algorithms for a single thread, you now also have to make them SIMD aware, or in a way that the compiler generates SIMD code. The other one is that you actually need to change the algorithms to because the single thread is slower. It's not slower, but it's not improving as much. What is improving is the amount of cores we have. As I said, I have 16 cores on my laptop, and I think 10 years ago this was 4. And I think this will keep increasing. I think we can horizontally get more and more cores on machines. I believe my phone has 8 cores, which is already huge. So, but to make use of those cores, you need to write multi-threaded code. So that's one thing. That's what Polar's open source already does. Um, as a company, we're now building Polar's Cloud, which wants to do the same, but then for multiple machines. We want to be able to take a Polar's query and be able to scale that up to multiple machines. This again has a whole different strategies, whole different challenges, but the principle is sort of the same. Principle is, hey, we see that we have a one thing. What Polars is a query, and then with that there's the description of what you want to use, what you want to run, and we can take that description and build a way of implementing the physical side of that, the physical side of taking that description and returning you the data. And for SQL, there are already tons of implementations. For Polars, there only is now the Polars open source, which does a single machine. But if you want to scale Polars to larger data sets that don't fit into a single machine, yeah, that's not something that's possible yet. So that's what we want to build.